Prairie Hill, oil company executive, and once a citizen of the air-conditioned city of Dallas, Texas, was to survive, it must be by brains, ingenuity, and perhaps through those shared experiences. He would need matches. He would need fuel. Shelter first, then fire. Fire here was out of the question. There would be spilled gasoline from ruptured tanks. And this plane was his lodestone for rescuers, his only beacon to the outside world. Very well, then, the forest. He had matches and a lighter, recently filled. He would need tools, or a tool. He would need a blanket, or another heavy coat. Carefully, he straightened to his feet. He moved to the body of Curtis, avoiding looking at his face. He searched his pockets and found a lighter, more matches, and a nail file. One by one, he searched those he could reach, but it was Farmer Peterson whom he blessed. Peterson came from Minnesota and had trapped his way through college. An astute geologist, he was still a country boy at heart. His pockets yielded a waterproof matchbox filled with wooden matches and a large clasp knife of the type carried by sailors, the blade all of 5 inches long. In the back of the plane, he found several army blankets and some cans of sea rations. Making a bundle of one blanket, he then took along a roll of blueprints for the new tank and distribution complexes to use as tinder to start a fire. Pausing to think, he remembered that he must not allow himself to perspire, for when activity ceased, the perspiration would turn to ice, and then his clothing would become a chilling hull in which death could come quickly. He sorted through the debris where the lockers had broken open, finding a cup and several other useful utensils. He stuffed them into the blanket along with the food and Curtis's coat, and dropped down from the ruins of the plane. The black battalions of the forest were a dark fringe where sky and snow had a meeting place. With curious reluctance, he stepped away from the plane and, leaving behind his last link with civilization, comfort, and tangible evidence of man, he walked off over the snow. It was cold. His boots crunched on the snow. His breath crackled lightly. The all-pervading chill seemed to penetrate the thickest clothing. Yet the movement warmed him, and he paused, glancing back. The distance to the plane frightened him, but he turned, and face down from the raw wind, he walked on. He floundered into the black and white silence of the tree line. This was the ragged fringe of the forest, and the growth was not tall. White snow, gray and barren sky, the spidery undergrowth, and the solemn columns of the trees. Then he saw, scarcely 50 feet into the trees, a deadfall. This had been a greater tree than most, uprooted and flung down, black earth clinging to the root mass and making a solid wall against the northeast. Lowering his blanket pack into the hollow where the roots had been, he gathered 4 thick branches for a foundation, and then with some of the blueprint paper for tinder, he built a small pyre of twigs. The tiny flame leaped up, hissed spitefully at the cold, and then reached warily for the paper. It caught. Edges of flame crept along the folds. Then the flame began to eat hungrily into the tiny stack of fuel. He watched with triumph as the flames increased and twined their hot fingers about the cold pile of twigs. He had achieved a fire. A minor victory won. Man's first companion against the cold and dark. His first step forward from the animal. It was a simple thing, but it was the first thing. Yet as the flames sank their eager teeth into his small stack of fuel, he realized with quick fear that he could well become the slave of the fire, devoting all of his time to serving it. He must keep his fire small and remain close, or all his strength would be required to feed the insatiable flame. The root mass of the deadfall was more than 7 feet of solid wall with a web of extending roots. Taking his time, Hill gathered evergreen boughs for a thick bed against the very base of the protecting wall, which supplied him not only with a windbreak, but with a reflector for his fire. Through the straggling roots, which extended out and down from the root mass, he wove other evergreen boughs, and into the roots overhead he did the same thing. Soon he had a cup-like hollow with an open face toward the fire. After gathering more fuel, he banked his fire, placed sticks close at hand, then rolled up in his blankets on the bed of spruce boughs. He slept almost at once, awakening from time to time to replenish the flames, warned by the searching fingers of increasing cold. At daybreak he awoke in pain. The muscles of his back and neck were a tightly knotted mass. He'd been hurt in the crash, and he was just now realizing it.